How are you all doing, grade 9? We are already on week 6 and 7 of our module-based instruction, and our topic for the week is on expressing arguments using conditionals. During the previous week, we learned about the second and third conditionals. So let us review our knowledge on the said topics first. Now try to recall what the form of the second conditional is. So the second conditionals, or the type 2 conditionals, have the form if plus subject plus the simple past form of the verb, comma, subject plus would or could plus the base form of the verb. For example, if I were you, I would do it this way. What is the function or use of the second conditionals? So we learned last time that the second conditionals are used for imagined situation in the present. That's why ang second conditional naton sometimes is called present and real conditionals. So ang mga sitwasyon nga imo lang gina-imagine sa subong but are impossible to happen. So kung mabalik kita sa aton example, if I were you, I would do it this way. That is an example of a second conditional because it is an imagined situation. You can never be another person. Okay, next. What is the form of the third conditionals? So, ang aton third conditionals or conditionals type 3 or type 3 conditionals have the form if plus subject plus had plus past participle, comma, subject plus would or could plus have plus past participle. We learned nga ang aton third conditionals have the longest pattern among the four conditionals. So last review question, what is the function or the use of the third conditionals? So ang aton nga third conditionals ginagamit when you are trying to imagine a situation nga natabo na. Okay? Butsilingon, natabo na siya pero gina-wish mo nga tani wala natabo, or wala siya natabo in the past pero gina-wish mo nga tani natabo. That's why, if you could likewise recall, we said third conditionals are used to express regrets or criticisms pag hinulsol. So for example, if I had studied, I would have passed the exam. Di ba amo naton example? So that means nga kung tani kuno nag-study lang siya, but the reality is it was the opposite that happened in the past. That's why the tone of the third conditional usually again is regrets or criticisms. For this week, we only have one lesson objective, and that is use conditionals in expressing arguments. So ang lesson ta subong nga adlaw actually is more on the application of the learnings nga inyo nakuha for the past 2 weeks. Kay you will be using still conditionals, but this time usaron naton ang conditionals in constructing ang ginatawag naton nga mga arguments. You already know what to do at this point. Kindly get your notebooks and open your modules on page 3 and then write your answers for what I know. Please get back to the video after answering so we can proceed with our lesson proper. Now, before we can apply our learnings on conditionals in making arguments, let us try to give focus on understanding what arguments really are. Okay? I know that most of you already have an idea kung ano ang ginatawag na argument, but to be formal, let's still discuss what an argument is. So we have three different definitions of an argument. One is that an argument is a claim supported by evidences. So that is very self-explanatory. An argument is something nga imo ginhambal or imo ginsulat, but it should be backed up by evidences. Imo ginsulat, imo ginhambal, imo ginapatihan, pero may ara ka mga ebidensya. Okay, second, an argument is a reasoned, logical way of demonstrating that the writer's position, belief, or conclusion is valid. Now, like what I said, an argument can be written or spoken. Okay? So, ang ikaduwa naton nga definition, it is a way kuno sang isa ka writer or isa ka speaker nga papatihon, nga ginagamit sang isa ka writer or speaker nga papatihon ang iyang mga readers para i-prove nga ang iya position on something, ang iya belief on something, or iya conclusion on something is valid. Okay? So also please take note of the words reasoned and logical way. Okay? So dapat when you are presenting an argument, it should be reasonable. It should also be logical. Both silingon gin paminsaran gid. Okay? Third, an argument is used to change the reader's point of view, to bring about some actions on the reader's part, or to convince the reader to accept the writer's explanation of a concept, issue, or problem. So the third bullet there is more likely on the different uses of an argument. Para sa ano ang isa ka argumento or isa ka argument? Of course, one is to change the perspective or the point of view of another person. Okay? Ikaduwa, to motivate that action to do something. Diba? Kaya ang argument is used to make him believe on something. So it could also be that an argument is used para i-convince siya to take action. And it could also be used to convince the reader to accept the writer's explanation of a concept, issue, or problem. Sometimes an argument is just for the sake of acceptance. That's why we present them. So I hope that by now you already fully understand kung ano ang ginatawag nga argument, because that foundational knowledge is needed para ikaw makakonstruct later sang imo nga argument. Now, we will now talk about creating arguments using conditionals. Please take note, there are many ways to express an argument. Okay? So, damo ka pwede usaron nga pamaagi para ma-express ang isa ka argument, but one of the most convincing ways to express an argument is using your conditionals. So, pwede ta mahambal nga ang isa sa mga pulos kung nga agin tun-an ta ang apat ka klase sang conditionals. Ang zero conditional, ang first conditional, ang second kag ang third conditional is para makabalo ka man mag-express ang arguments. Because again, they are one of the most convincing ways to create or to express an argument. So please take note also, dapat kabalo ka kung ano ang gusto mo nga ipabutyag nga argument. Kay because we learned nga ang kada conditional may ara iya nga grammar kag may ara iya nga meaning. So that's why dapat insakto gid nga conditional ang imo usaron, kag ang imo usaron nga conditional dapat masanto gid or makorrelate exactly sa kung ano nga punto ang imo gusto nga i-hit. Okay? So first, zero conditionals can be used to present an argument. So to recall, zero conditional has the pattern again ara sa inyo screen. If plus subject plus simple present. And then you have for the main clause, subject plus simple present. Okay? So ang aton gali nga examples sang arguments dira ginkuha of course sa inyo module. Suppose be ang topic nga ginaistoryahan for argument or for debate is lowering the age of criminal liability in the Philippines from 18 to 15. This has been a controversial topic kay this has been included in the news not probably very recently, pero medyo ginistoryahan siya sa Senado. Okay? Meaning to say, this is a debatable issue. Kay may ara kita lain-lain nga perspectives, and you can bring about a lot of arguments using this issue. So, ang argument nga example ng zero conditional there reads, if you are 15 and you commit a crime, you are liable of the said crime. Okay? Now, that is the argument made by the speaker. Nga nag-usar ang speaker sang zero conditional. Simply because the speaker wants to speak of a general truth. Kay di ba base sa ato natun-an, zero conditionals are used to talk about general truth or scientific truth. So, if you are 15 and you commit a crime, you are liable of the said crime. That is a valid argument. And at the same time, that is an argument that speaks of a general truth. That's why the speaker makes use of the zero conditional. Kay truth lang ang iya nga gusto ihambal. And that is true kung 15 years old ka and then you have committed the crime, pwede ka gid nga kasuhan. Okay? Pwede taman mausar ang first conditional sa aton argument. So, ang first conditional, if plus subject plus simple present, pareho sa if clause sang zero conditional. Ang kinalain lang is that sa imo main clause may ara ka na will kag won't. Example, if you are 15 and you commit a crime, you will be liable for the said crime. O that is also an argument. Pero pamangkot is nga amo na ang ginusar sang speaker. Because going back to our knowledge on first conditional talks about possibilities. So probably, ang speaker, when he said that, if you are 15, blah, 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 you will be liable for the said crime, he said that because he wants to show the possibility of being liable if you are 15 and committing a crime. So, i-reiterate ta, solito naton, dapat kabalo kita kung ano klase conditional ang gamiton, depende sa aton argument nga gusto ipabutyag. Then we have our second and third conditional. Second conditional, if plus subject plus simple past, and then subject plus would or could plus verb in the base form. O examples ang argument dira nga nasulat, if you were 15 and you committed a crime, you would be liable of the said crime. Now, this person might have a different argument. Diba? Kailain ang iya nga pattern nga gingamit, this time nagamit sa sang second conditional. Ano ang punto sang speaker? Okay, base liwat sa aton natun-an, probably this time nagamit ang speaker naton sang second conditional kay ang gusto ya matabo is that gusto ya imaginon sang iya ginaistorya nga 15 years old siya ang iya ginaistorya. Diba? Because we said that second conditional is used for imagine situation in the present. Probably, ang ginaistorya sang aton speaker, hindi 15 years old. That's why ang hambalya, kung ikaw be 15 years old and you committed a crime, you would be liable of the said crime. That's why the second conditional was used. Okay, pwede man ang third conditional kung ang gusto mo ipabutsag is ang meaning man sang third conditional. So, ang third conditional, again, has the pattern if plus subject plus had plus past participle, and for your main clause, you have subject plus would or could plus have plus past participle. Kalaba, di ba? So, example argument. If you had been 15 and you had committed a crime, you would have been liable for the said crime. Oh, this one is already of different meaning sa aton previous nga example sa second conditional. Ano naman diriya ang gusto ipunto sang aton speaker? Okay. So probably ginusar sang speaker naton ang third conditional because gusto niya pa imaginon liwat ang iya ginaistorya nga kung kuno abi iya ginaistorya 15 years old kag kun nakahimo ang iya ginaistorya sang crime sang 15 years old pa lang sa like that. Third conditional because the speaker knows for a fact nga wala nakahimo sang crime, ang iya ginaistorya sang 15 years old pa lang siya. That's why it talks about an imagined situation in the past. Amo na nga nag-usar siya sang third conditional. So again, bottom line, second conditionals and third conditionals can also be used in expressing argument, but you just have to be careful kung ano ang meaning nga imo gina-drive at. And we are already finished with our lesson proper. For this week, medyo nubo lang ang aton nga discussion because like I said, this week is more on application na sang natunan nyo for the past 2 weeks. So, we can probably wrap up everything and summarize everything nga natunan naton this week. So, try to recall again kung ano ang ginatawag nga argument. So, tandaan natin nga ang argument is, again, a claim that is supported by evidences. So, hindi na siya matawag nga argument kung wala ikaw sang ebidensya to back it up. It might just be purely an opinion kung wala siya evidences. Remember also that an argument can be written or it can be spoken. And ginausar nato ng argument to influence other people or to convince other people para mapati sila kung ano ang gusto naton nga ipabutsag or mapati sila sa punto nga aton gina-present. Okay. Second, how do you use conditionals in arguments? So like we said, we have 4 conditionals, diba? We have 0 conditionals for general truth and for scientific facts. We also have the first conditionals for possibilities at present or in the future. And then we also have our second conditionals nga ginausar naton when we present a situation nga imagined sa subong or sa present. And then we have our third conditionals which we use to talk about regrets for the things nga natabo sa past or mga wala natabo sa past. Okay? So, paano naton liwat usaron ang ini nga mga conditionals when making arguments? Dapat kabalo kita kung ano ang aton ginapunto. Because like I said, nga ginasulit-sulit ko kagina, ang conditional nga imo usaron dapat maangot or makorelate sa imo nga argument nga gusto ipabutyag. So well done for having fully understood our lesson for today, or for this week rather. Now, I will let you be and pwede na kita siguro maka-answer sang iban pang activities nga ara sa aton modules. So please try to answer. Let's try on page 6 what I have learned on page 7, what I can do on pages 7 and 8, and assessment of course on pages 8 and 10. So ginahope ko gid nga aton na reach ang aton objective for this week. Again, ang objective ta lang is usaron ang conditionals to express arguments. Kag I hope makita ko na sa inyong mga outputs when you answer your activities. So thank you for your time today and I hope to see you again sa aton nga next session. Have a good day everyone.